The situation between Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic and Dana White is just a complete shit show. Honestly, the way the UFC are just disrespecting Tom Aspinall at this point is crazy. So in a recent interview with Kevin Iole, Dana White was asked questions about the Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, Stipe Miocic whole situation. Dana White did have some things to say about it. This is one of the key takeaways. Speaking about Tom Aspinall, he says he's working his way up, he's climbing up the ladder, and everybody's like, he deserves this and he deserves that. He doesn't deserve anything. What the fuck are you on about? He doesn't deserve anything. Like, what more does this guy have to do? Tom Aspinall stepped in on short notice when Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic fight was pulled. He stepped in on short notice against Sergey Pavlovich. He ended up winning the interim title on short notice. He KO'd Sergey Pavlovich, who was the backup fighter to Jon Jones Stipe. And realistically, it should have been Sergey versus Stipe, because Sergey was the backup fighter, but that there was pulled. Tom Aspinall was asked to step in on short notice to do the UFC a favour, which he did. He stepped in, he won the interim title. After that, everyone thought it was nailed on that he's going to fight Jon Jones next, because what other scenario has there been, I can't remember off the top of my head, where the interim champion, hasn't faced the undisputed champion next? When has that happened? Like, when has that happened? Not only has that happened, Jon Jones has been out now for months. Granted, he is injured, but he has been out for months, to the point where Tom Aspinall, who is the interim heavyweight champion, yes, the interim heavyweight champion, has defended the interim title before the undisputed heavyweight title has been defended. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? And then the way Dana White has spoke about this, the UFC are just taking Tom Aspinall as a fucking mug. They're just walking over the guy. It's crazy. He doesn't deserve anything. What the fuck are you on about? He doesn't deserve anything. The guy saved UFC 295 by stepping in and being able to fight for the undisputed heavyweight title. He has then defended the interim heavyweight title. He hasn't been disrespectful in any way whatsoever to Dana White, Jon Jones, etc. And he doesn't deserve anything. He deserves to fight for the undisputed title. That is what the interim title is made for. The interim title grants you that shot at the title. It has always been that way. Always. So to say he doesn't deserve anything, I just don't fucking get it. But anyway, this scenario gets worse, because during this interview, Dana White also stated that whoever wins out of Jon Jones versus Stipe will fight Tom Aspinall next, which doesn't make much sense, because later on in the interview, Dana White goes on to say that Stipe Miocic is 100% retiring after this fight. Now, no one thinks Stipe is going to win, I understand that. But that just contradicts yourself, because if Stipe is to win and he's 100% retiring, then he's not going to fight Tom Aspinall next. You know what I mean? Also, then this has came out. Speaking about coming out, pause, Jon Jones. But anyway, someone tweeted Jon Jones and he replied saying, "Fun fact, after this year, Jon Jones will never have to work again, retired at 37 winning." So, Jon Jones is thinking about retiring after the Stipe fight, which everybody already knew anyway. So, what are we doing here? The UFC are allowing Jon Jones to ruin this division. The heavyweight division is ruined, because what is next for Tom Aspinall then? Is he to make a second defense of the interim title? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So he's going to defend the interim title a second time before the undisputed title's been defended? You know, like, what are we doing here? I understand that the UFC are fucking set on making this fight, and I don't understand why. At this moment in time, I don't get it. I kind of understood it before. The greatest heavyweight of all time versus the GOAT. But you've got an interim champion who's already defended the title. So this fight doesn't make sense, especially for the undisputed title. Now, if you want to make this fight, that's fine. Strip Jon Jones of the title. And it's not even if Stipe is highly ranked either. The guy hasn't fought in 4 years. His last fight, he got folded like a fucking deck chair by Francis Ngannou. And he's ranked number 6. So he doesn't even deserve the title fight. If you want to make this fight, this legacy fight, by all means. But strip Jon Jones of the heavyweight title. He has to be stripped. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? The UFC are just ruining the heavyweight division. They're ruining someone who's arguably going to go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time in Tom Aspinall. They're ruining a future star in Tom Aspinall. For what? Two old men to fight and both retire at the end? Also, the thing about this is, when this fight does happen, and if both men do retire, Dana White's going to go completely the opposite from glazing John Jones to glazing Tom Aspinall. What the fuck are we doing here? I don't get it. Finally, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Tom Aspinall has finally clicked in and responded in the right way. Talking about the whole situation, he says, this guy needs to be pulled out of the race. This guy needs to be Joe Biden. Mate, he's too old. No one's interested anymore. And what he's on about is Stipe Miocic. Now, this is 100% true. Although, I don't think Stipe is the main issue in this scenario. If you put yourself in Stipe's shoes, if you're being offered this fight, of course you're going to take it. It's not on Stipe. It's on Dana White and John Jones for making this fight, jumping through every barrier possible, just destroying a division, destroying a future star, destroying arguably one of the biggest fights that can be made in MMA right now. Tom Aspinall's right. No one's interested in this fight. Tom Aspinall, John Jones is a way, way bigger fight than what the Stipe fight is, and that is a fact. There's no way you can tell me otherwise. And the UFC is a business at the end of the day, and the fact that they're choosing to have a fight that's going to sell less pay-per-views over this is crazy, especially for John Jones, a guy who's failed multiple PEDs tests, a guy who's ruined multiple events for the UFC. What the fuck what are they doing here? I don't get it. Now, this is a step in the right direction for Tom Aspinall, but we need more of this. Tom Aspinall needs to come on to Twitter, get on interviews, and call out John Jones. Fuck being respectful anymore. They're not respecting you. Tom Aspinall needs to come out, pause, and have a go at John Jones, Dana White, the UFC, for the treatment. What's happening? I know it's not in the guy's nature. He doesn't seem like one to trash talk, but this is what he needs to do, because the guy's actually being treated like a fucking doormat, and he is the interim heavyweight champion. This guy could be, honestly, a serious star in the UFC. For some reason, they're ruining him for the sake of John Jones and Stipe. I don't get it. Fucking sort this shit out. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you again in the next one.